Hi, welcome to the FingerNailFixer vlog. I'm so excited you could join me. You never know what you're going to find on the vlog from week to week. It's going to be anything and everything nails, from talking about nails to doing nails, nail tutorials. Check out things on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be looking at nail products. We'll be talking about disinfection. We'll be doing everything and anything nails. So please reach down and click on subscribe or even join me every week on the FingerNailFixer vlog. Hey freaks, bringing you along on the adventure. I'm actually gonna get permanent makeup. It's essentially a tattoo on your face. You know how I am as a natural redhead. My eyes kind of disappear on my face, and that's why I love doing lashes. And to kind of help make life easier for me, my sweat is really acidic. It eats off even waterproof mascara and eyeliner. So I'm gonna do permanent eyeliner with Sue. She is a nail professional that I've known forever in DeWitt, Iowa. And I have been waiting for my schedule to align and make it possible for me to come get permanent makeup with her, because her training is amazing. She's a nail geek, so that means she's a permanent makeup geek and does extra education, and I know that I can trust her sanitation and disinfection and education, and that makes me feel safe and comfortable with getting a tattoo on my face. And I wanted to include you in the process so that if any of you are curious about it, or you've seen it at trade shows and you've been like, hey, what is that? You can check it out. Or if you've been curious about adding it on into the salon, because as a nail professional, it's something that Sue has added as an add-on service, you can check it out as an add-on. And I want to include you from beginning to end, and I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. I will kind of cut the video up into snippets for you. But the consultation is pretty important, so I'm even going to include you on the consultation. So come on in and check it out with me.
Hi everybody. We're going to start first doing a little bit of questioning, because you always want to know your person and their abilities and their skin tones, their shape of the face, and looking at Holly, knowing her for so many years, I already know a lot of that, but I want her to explain what she does on a regular basis, you know, from in the morning, from her skincare to her makeup process. So go ahead.
I'm kind of lazy when it comes to skincare and makeup. I do try to get a facial every other month.
Okay.
And for skincare, I use Dermalogica. It doesn't irritate my skin. I like the microfoliant in the shower, so I try to use that several times a week. And then for a moisturizer, I like the Active Moist, or their the other moisturizer that they have, and I can't remember the name of it. It's also in the tube. I'm very diligent with sunscreen, so I'm constantly wearing sunscreen.
Perfect.
Sometimes I remember to use a toner, sometimes not, because that's an extra step. When it comes to makeup, most of the time I'm only wearing chapstick, eyeliner, mascara, lashes, always lashes.
Yes.
Unless I'm doing a class or a trade show. If I'm doing a class and a trade show, then I'm probably gonna throw on some powder, some eyeshadow, some lipstick, maybe blush if I'm feeling fancy. But generally, because I sweat so much, I don't add a lot of extra stuff, and because like any lights or whatever is gonna throw some sweat on there, and then my sweat like eats the makeup, and then the makeup really irritates my face because my skin is so sensitive. So most of the time it's generally just eyes.
Okay. Couple things for you to consider and think about. Your toner is the most anti-aging product that you can use in all of that.
Okay.
So even if it's a spritz, just spritz it on, and you can do it a couple times a day, but that'll keep that moisture in there. Being a redhead, you have very, very small pores, which means you get dry very, very easy. So usually by the time we hit our 40s, an exfoliant is maybe once a week.
Oh.
Otherwise, you're taking that good skin right on off of there, and eventually you're going to have more wrinkles or rhytids is the correct name. So kind of think about that. I know it feels good and I know it feels dry, but it's actually harming your skin more than it's helping. So when you're doing your skincare these first few days, you're going to avoid up around your eye just because you want that to heal. You're going to have about 7 days that you're going to have to really protect your eyes, whether you're in the shower or whether you are just washing your face in the sink. And we'll go through that towards the end because I have a whole list, and I send you home with a paper that tells you specifically what you're going to do for the next week or so. And being that eyes are a little bit different than when you do your lips or do your eyebrows, you can't really put anything on there. So I use sterilized water from the hospital.
Okay.
And I send extra home with you so that you can use those.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about first is we're going to do your liner today. And I know that you just wear your bottom liner because you wear your lashes an awful lot, but it's key to have the right color.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think of liner, you think, gosh, how many colors can you have? Well, there really are a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing this, you can put all those colors in there, but besides black and brown, they really don't stay very long.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done aqua, I've done green, I've done them all. But it usually only lasts about 6 months, and then you're back in here. So most people do the blacks or the browns, and then if they're going somewhere, they'll just put a liner on, or they'll put some extra eyeshadow under there or whatever and make it so pretty. So that's our first thing. What color do you normally tend to wear?
I normally wear black.
Okay.
And I wanted to get your professional opinion on if I should go with black or if I should go with brown because of my skin tone. Because I could always throw black on for a special event over the top of it.
Well, the one thing that we do is look at your eyes. And looking at yours, you have a few flecks in there. And what that tells me is that we're going to have to use a modifier in the color that we use so that yours doesn't turn blue. You pull a lot of blue. And most redheads do. So I almost automatically put the modifier in there. But your eyes are pretty hazily green. Like my daughter's. And I just like to note those things just so that I can go back. I know you so well, but so many people, I like to have everything written down so I can go back and I can actually look at it and say, oh yeah, that's what she's talking about, or oh yeah, that's what we were remembering. And your palette is clean, so I mean, we're perfectly great to go. But the biggest thing is that we can only go from lash to lash. If we would go outside of your last lash or your first lash, you can actually hit a vein and then you'll have a blue strip. And so we want to avoid that at all costs, because once you get that, you can't ever get rid of it. You're going to have to cover it up with makeup forever. And I know a lot of people would really like to go from end to end. However, I won't take that chance. Nobody deserves to have a face that they don't want to show and smile and bring out,
Right.
So that is really key point. I think black is probably the perfect color for you.
Okay.
I think that brown would probably blend too much in with your eyes.
Okay.
And we want to pop your eyes.
Perfect.
That's it. I mean, you're doing this because you really want it to show.
Mm-hmm.
And so
That works.
let's make it look beautiful.
Excellent.
So let's put some number on.
Yay!
Yeah. So we're going to have you lay back here.
Okay.
I'm going to pull that up.
I'll bring you guys a little closer.
Now, everybody numbs a little bit differently. And so, excuse me, I started a year ago with 2 different numbers. I had a person who really had a hard time, and she had said to me, I I am a person who does not numb very well, and so whenever Linda, who was my trainer, did my eyes, she said she used the Canadian. Well, we have a company that is from Canada, and they do have a liquid number. And I put it on her, left it. The liquid number doesn't stay on, you know, because it's liquid. It just kind of rolls right off. So I thought it was kind of funny that she said that. But I ended up changing her to a little bit of a concoction that I kind of found on my own. And I use what's called a Tag 45. And then I also found, it's a numb pot. This one, actually, the name of it is a Numb Master. And so by mixing the two of them together, I have not only a 1.5% medication in there, epinephrine is the actual name of it. I actually have a 2.5%, so you're getting more numbing with it. And I would never do anything without having some numbing on there, and especially around the eyes. It's hard enough for people to think, oh my God, she's right next to my eyes. I certainly don't want to make you even more nervous. So we're going to put this number on, and it's totally up to you if you want to leave your eyes open or closed. I get pretty close to your eye duct, but I don't, if you feel anything, go ahead and look straight up, Holly. If you feel anything burning or that, I definitely want you to tell me, and we will flush your eye out. So we're going to let that sit there, and I'm going to finish getting everything ready and show everybody kind of what we're doing. The numbing part of it is almost, it's a dentist put all of this together, all this numbing, and I truly believe in a doctor putting it together. I thought, oh my gosh, a doctor and a son did this. And so I got looking more and more at it. Well, they ended up coming out with a healing element. I don't use it. It's Xenia, and it's a basic healing cream. I'm not gutsy enough to put it on the eyes, but I will put it on, I'll let people put it on their brows, their lips, and even the areola and the 3D nipples, because those patients have already gone through so much already. I feel that they deserve to have some extra healing care. So for yours, because it is your eyes, you're going to have some sterilized water from the hospital, and you're going to do 3 wipes today. And I'm going to go through that towards the end so that you really can remember and able to look at it later on. And I always put my number on there and my cell phone number so that you can call me night or day. So what I'm going to do next, and I try and tell each of you what I'm doing, because if you've never been here, you have no idea. But most generally, there's 2 size needles that you use for your eyeliner. You have a cartridge, and all of them are pre-packaged. If you ever go anywhere and it's not packaged, and you don't hear them rattling, then most certainly it's not sterilized. But knowing that your shape of your eyes and your thin skin, I chose a 5, and what 5 means is that when these needles, when you look at it straight on, there's 5 little itty bitty needles that are all in a circle. If it was a 3 needle, it would just be the 3 needles, but the 5, I think, is going to give you enough of a look. It's not going to be too thick, but it's going to be enough that it's just going to pop your eyes out a little bit more. And say today we do it and it's healing, and you think, gosh, I wish it was a little bit thicker, or I wish it was a little bit darker. Because most people don't realize when you do this, it is like a tattoo, and it fades. Your skin is exfoliating, and especially your face, it exfoliates a lot faster than the rest of your body. So your eyeliner does not stay a true black. It'll be dark, but it won't be like you just put your black eyeliner on there. So we're gonna open this up and we're gonna get everything set up while you're nice and numbing up. And then we're gonna make one small pass on each eye just to open the skin. Then we're gonna put more number on there. We're gonna leave it for about 15-20 minutes. More than likely 20 minutes because Holly is a redhead. And so we want her to be really good and numb for this process. You can't do your job properly if they're not comfortable. And so I always believe you need to have a comfortable person. You get in there, you can get your job done, and then they're happy with the work that you've done.
And it's probably not helpful if your person is twitching.
No, and that, we're gonna get into that too, because sometimes you get close to the senses and people start, like they wanna sneeze or they wanna cough, and so I always tell them, say something to me or raise your hand so that I can pull the needle away. You definitely don't want the needle there. I will say in my 15 years of doing this, I've had 2 people who have done that, and I did get a dot on the lower side. There is a product that you can use to take that out, and I have used it, but you still always have a small remnants there.
Mm-hmm.
So each time they come in for a touch-up, which usually is in a year, some people like to do sooner, some people like to do longer. The more times that you do it, the more scar tissue you build up. So if you can try really hard to at least wait a year, and then we can touch it up. So I use pigment. Some people might call it ink, but pigment is the actual name. And knowing Holly's skin and how dry it is, I'm going to mix 2 black colors together. I'm going to use a midnight black and I'm going to use a black magic. And then we are going to put a gold 24 modifier in there so that hers doesn't turn blue.
It's always fun to be a special snowflake.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I like to go over like her medications and all of her health history, which we have done. And so she really is a very good candidate to do this. And so I'm hoping, and I tell people, if you can't tolerate it, just let me know. There's no sense in going on because it's, the first pass is the worst. You've got to get in there and you've got to open it up. And after that skin is open and we've let it sit there for 20 minutes, then I turn around and I will do 3 passes on each side. And I always start from the left side to the right side. And hopefully we can let you guys see that a little bit more. I might be standing in the way a little bit, but we'll see if we can get close enough to it. Sometimes there's a little bit of bleeding, sometimes there's not. You don't want blood up into your needle, and so you have to wipe a little bit more. Otherwise, you just wipe when you're finished with that pass, and it takes longer for the numbing agent to work than it actually does for the process.
Kind of like a normal tattoo then.
Yes.
Minus the numbing agent. You
Yes.
get numb for a normal tattoo, but there's usually a slight bleeding on some.
I have been known to put numbing agent on before I've gone to the tattoo parlor.
That is hilarious. Cheater, cheater.
I am. And I mean, I think if more of them knew that they could do that, yes, it's an expense. I will tell you guys, you know, these little bottles that are only, 1 ounce are over $50.
Oh wow, that's probably why they don't use them then.
Exactly.
Put it over the whole back would be pricey.
But also, they could have years ago because tattoo artists up until 2 years ago didn't have to pay taxes. It was all free money.
Oh wow.
So that's why there was so many. And in the state of Iowa, when they put it into law that it was in the beauty division, 300 of them quit.
Wow.
They didn't want to pay taxes. They didn't want to have to do any of, show anybody their sales. And so we lost quite a few of them. And I've always, because mine has always come under cosmetology, us that have done permanent makeup have always had to pay. So that wasn't a issue for us, but it was a huge issue for those people who do a regular tattoo. They were very upset about the whole thing.
That's crazy.
And they should have all these years. I mean, it's a job.
Right. Like, how did they get out of it? It's not fair.
No. If I have to pay taxes, so do you.
No kidding.
There was a lot of upset, especially in the Quad City area. Very, very upset people. And they had them on TV and they were interviewing them and they were just really angry about the whole thing. And
Well, why not be thankful for all the years that you didn't have to?
exactly. Why?
While the rest of us were coughing it up.
Yep, so I believe, if I heard correctly, because once a year, state comes in and checks my facility. And the gal that comes to this section, she was telling me that she had heard quite a few of them were doing it out of their home privately so that, people didn't know that they were still doing it
Right.
and it didn't get out, which happens in everything.
Right.
There's
That
always a
happens in all
loophole.
industries.
Yes. Frustrating, but happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got our colors mixed, and this is the smallest mixer ever, but I absolutely love it.
Oh, that's adorable.
Isn't it? I'm so into small things, but yes, it just mixes it really well. And we've got that color, so I'm going to get it into the needle just so that it starts its process of working up the tube. And then we're going to make our first pass here and make sure that she can get even more numb.
I'm getting so excited.
It's truly life altering, and I finally had to wipe my slate clean because I am an esthetician and a nail technician. I had to wipe out one whole day just to do this because I was starting to get busier. And when people call you, they want it right now. They're ready to do this. And so you want to have availability for it. And so I was really, summertime was really wicked for me because everybody wanted their toes done. And then you have a few weddings and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made one specific day for it. And I was pretty, I hated to go from one thing to another
Right.
all the time. But now as the years have gone on, I'm okay. And I ended up having the guys come in and they put the lock on the outside of my door so that I can, if I'm not able to get in here and get it cleaned up ASAP,
Mm-hmm.
I can lock the door from the outside, and our bathroom is right next to us, and so kids would come in this room versus get into the bathroom, and it made
accident.
me really nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually always get my needles and that put away, but there's still, there's still chemicals, there's still pigment around, and this is sanitized all the time, and just them walking in here, puts germs in here, and so I don't care for that at all. So we're gonna get started. After I change my glasses, I like to wear a 400 magnifier so that I can see as clearly as possible, because you're really up close and personal with people when you do this. And Holly, I'm going to give you the mirror,
Okay.
because at any time if you want to look, you
Okay.
certainly can. We've got a fresh water. Fabulous. So we're going to start, like I said, with your left eye. And make sure you are welcome to leave your eyes open or closed. It matters not to me.
Okay.
I pretty much open them anyway because I'm pulling and stretching and pushing. And if you need a focal point, when I'm working on your left eye, I don't want you to move your head, but I want you to think of my button on my shirt, or look towards the button on my shirt, so you have something. When I go to work on your right eye, I have some beautiful palm trees on my wall, and you can look that direction with your eyeball.
Okay.
It's funny because everybody moves their head. Like, no, I need that. And I will probably move your head anyway, because I want to have a clear picture, especially over towards the corner. I want to make sure that I can get close enough underneath there and see your last lash. Just fantastic.
Put it however you need it.
Perfect. We can do that. Is everybody as excited as we are?
Right?
It's time.
And do you do like a test touch? So if I'm gonna jump,
Yes.
it's like,
And I
that's what
always
it's gonna be like the tattoo artist does.
exactly. So we start from the outside to the inside. The inside, when I hit about right here, is going to be the worst.
Right.
But this goes really, really fast because I'm just putting little marks in there to get your skin open.
Right.
So, but yes, if you feel like you're going to jump or you need to move or something, raise
Usually
your
it's
hand.
just that first one that's like, thanks.
Yes.
That's where it's at.
Yes.
Because my tattoo's down my spine, so I should be able to.
Oh, yeah. Although it's different skin, I'll tell you that. Okay.
I think so. My eyes are probably gonna flutter.
And that's all right. That happens a lot. And we're just, and we water a lot, so don't think nothing of it. Perfect, you did fabulous.
Sweet.
Yes. Now we're gonna get that good number on there. And then I like your eyes to occlude, or any skin to occlude. So not much went in there, but I do want you to look at what, just going over that one pass, what it did.
Oh wow! Yay!
Can you show
Sweet.
everybody?
Can you pull it up here and I'll just set it up
Absolutely.
here? Take you guys for a ride.
Exactly.
Ta-da! See the difference already?
It's not even
Crazy, huh?
a one. I mean, that's just opening her skin, but it does give you, you know, a little bit.
I'm gonna turn them this away. Tighten this up. And I'll just hold this on my belly so that they can watch the next one.
I wish I had a. Actually, it's too bad it wouldn't attach to here, so that it would. You could.
There, now they should be able to see from there.
So we're gonna put more number on there, and then we're gonna put a barrier on.
Looks so cool. It looks just like eyeliner, but I'm not gonna have to wash it off and put it on every day. Yay.
No, not at all. But, yep, look all the way up so we get it right up there, because the number the better. Fabulous. And then we're going to put a barrier on there. When you put a little piece of, it looks like saran wrap, but it's actually eye barrier. Go ahead and close. It helps the skin to occlude, or it forces that number into the skin, which is exactly what we want. And then it does it a little bit sooner for you than just actually letting it sit there without anything on. Now, some people, and Holly will do it immediately because of how thin her skin is, but you'll know when that skin is ready because it turns white all the way around that area. So a lot of times, like when I'm doing the eyebrows, you can see all the way around here that it's completely white. Well, then you know that it's numb. So definitely we'll see that, but we're gonna work on her other one. We gotta get that one open so it can have some good numbing agent on there too. Sometimes if you leave the number on a little too long, we have a tendency, we gotta get it off of there. We have a tendency, it gets crusty. And so then you really kind of have to wipe. So you don't want to leave it on there much more than 20 minutes. So I know a lot of people ask me when they're doing this, can you go through and hit my eye? You cannot. If you look at the needle, which I'll show you guys, that needle doesn't come out very far, so it's definitely not going to go through the eye at all. It only goes in just a little bit. When you do this, though, you stretch the eye as far as you possibly can because you want a nice, clean, crisp line. You're doing fabulous. I'm just going to go real fast. I forgot to mention, I tell people when I'm doing this to not talk. I pretty much talk to them simply because when you talk, your eyes move. That one didn't want to go very well. Your eyes move, and when your eyes move, then you have a tendency to get a spot that you don't want. So this one didn't take as well, which is typically normal. One eye takes really well, the other one doesn't. Same thing with the brows, same thing with the lips. Sometimes the top takes really good, but the bottom doesn't, or vice versa. So this one we'll probably have to work a little harder on. And there's a couple of different techniques. As I just went straight across and pulled is one technique. And the other one is called pointillism. And that technique is where you go in with the needle and you just hold it for a few seconds.
This one's burning.
This one's burning. Perfect. So we are going to flush and try and open if you can and get some of that water in there. Getting any better?
Mm-mm.
Blink. Sort of.
For some reason, I can't open it.
Okay. Just gonna force you. Just kind of move your eyeball around.
Uh-oh, just move my eyeball around.
Yeah. Need some more?
Nope, that is it.
Okay. So I've got to add a little bit more number on there. So we'll be really, really cautious here. And I have to add, if this numbing agent does not work for Holly, I have numerous other ones, and we will definitely try them, any of them. It may take a little bit longer, but in the long run, it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. So we're going to let her sit there, and I'm going to set the timer, and we're going to set for about 20 minutes. We're back. So we're going to do another test run. Make sure that she's numb. And then we'll see. And if not, we'll put more number back on there, and we'll get her so that she is nice and relaxed. How's that feel?
Not too bad.
So we're stretching and pulling because we want a nice solid line. Hang in there. This one's always a testy one. And we're going to check and see and make sure that the pigment actually went in, which we know from the first little area that it did. But we make 3 passes on there because we definitely want it to stay into that skin. And it did. Looking good. Yay! So we'll put more number back on there. And we're going to try her right eye. And see if it is numb. If it's not, we're going to continue to work on her left eye until the right eye does get to a point where she at least has some comfort in there, because you can't do a good job if somebody's uncomfortable and they're squeezing their eyes shut, they have to blink a lot. That just doesn't make for, you know, an easy time. And you want it to look nice, but if somebody's squeezing their eyes shut, you definitely aren't going to get in there and get that pigment straight or completely into the skin, so it's not going to stay. And then it's a waste of time and it's a waste of their money, and I hate that. So we're going to tip you this way, just a tweak. Perfect. I'm going to do a little test spot again. How'd that feel?
About the same as the first time. It'd be fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's open it up just a little bit and we'll get more number on there. We're not gonna force you. As women, we have to deal with a lot. It can be beautiful, but we certainly don't want it to be uncomfortable. Okay, so I'm gonna add another number in there. And that one stayed pretty good.
Good.
Not well enough, but I mean it did stay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna use
It's so funny how the two different sides are different.
always. You know, when they say that one eye is bigger than the other,
Mm-hmm.
and that, you know, 1 foot or whatever, it's the same thing with our pain tolerance. One side of our body handles it a little bit better than the other.
Well, and that's my droopier eye even.
Yes, it sure is. So we're going to use another number on top of the two that we used and just see if it gives her just a little bit more comfort. And we'll work back with her left eye. I know not all people do that, but you know, if you're far away and you can find somebody who really thinks of you and your comfort versus the money that's going in their pocket. I mean, if I could do my stuff for free, I would be all about it. I love what I do and I love to share. I hate taking money.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, in this world these days,
You gotta make a living.
you do. There's just no choice in there. So if you can see, Holly had a little bit of bleeding on the inside of her eye over here. And that could be a couple of reasons. I would say it's because her skin is so thin, but you don't want to irritate that skin too much to the point where she's so uncomfortable later on. However, if you can notice, she's got it in a couple of spots. With her skin being so thin, that is really quite normal for a redhead or a blonde. So the 3 passes is all we will do today. And then when we get back together in a month to 6 to 8 weeks, I mean, we have to leave it her heal for a month so that she doesn't build up scar tissue, and then the pigment won't go in at all. So we're going to do her passes today, and that's why I always make sure that everybody has 2 appointments and they come back, and if there's anything that we need to fix or you wanted a different color, we do it at that time. And you can't use makeup until the healing process is actually over. And what I mean by that is Holly's going to feel scabbing, just like she had a sore. And once that scabbing comes off, and it can come off like a snake skin, and it just peel right off, anywhere from 5 to 7 days. Or she could have flaking, and she may not even notice that it's flaking. It might be flaking at night when she's sleeping. But if she touches that area and it doesn't feel rough, like she's got a scab on there anymore, it's healed on the outside. The inside takes longer, and that's why we wait for a month at least before we do it again.
So I'll be good to wear lashes in Orlando.
You can, yes. Just make sure that when you're taking them on and off, like, do you use the makeup remover to take off the magnet?
Yep.
Make sure you just do it on the top. Try not to get any on your bottom.
Okay.
If it does pull the pigment out, it's no big deal. On our next session, we'll just put it right back in. And then you may have to wait a little bit longer for it to heal before you put the lashes back on. So we pull skin really tight and we just keep going directly over. She does have a couple of little spots that aren't taken as well as I like. And I get to be a little on the fussy side. So we're just going to go in and we're going to hold that needle in there because we wanted a nice solid line. We want it to look dark. And one thing with the pigment, it's going to be dark today and tomorrow, and I mean really dark. And a lot of people love that look. However, once the shedding happens and once her body has healed that area, then it's actually going to adjust to her skin tone and color, and it's going to change, and it might look more lighter brown than black. Everybody is just a little bit different. So I'm going to tip this just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better, but this eye is done. I do like to do both sides, and then I like to let the patient look at it. So I am going to put a number on there just in case she wants it a little thicker or a little bit more extended. I can look at people and say, oh, that looks really good on them. But we have a different perception for ourselves. And so I like to let everybody decide on their own. I might make a few suggestions and say, you know, if we do this, it's not really going to, you know, look like very well or whatever. But it's each person's choice. Do we need to flush your eye?
Maybe just a smidge in that corner.
Okay.
Towards you.
I kind of thought your eyelashes got a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like there's an eyelash curved up in there.
Better?
Yep.
Yeah, you did. You had one from your bottom, which happens frequently. So I'm just going to go like this, make sure they're all down. And up. So we're going to do a little test again. Make sure that she is comfortable. Not everybody gets completely numb, but as long as they're comfortable, so I'm going to tip you this way, just a tweak, perfect. I just want the right angle. On Holly's right eye, she actually, it rolls. And so what I mean by that is it actually, her whole eyelid moves down and rolls under. So you've got to be kind of careful. You want to get that pigment as close and in the lash line as possible so it looks natural, but you also don't want it to roll so that you're putting any on that top eyelid area, which you see girls who do that. And it really does harm your eyes when you start to put makeup on the top instead of underneath your eyelash. So that corner is just a little bit wet. We're going to work in the middle until that area gets a little bit drier. How's that feeling, Holly?
It's fine.
Like I said, this one isn't taken quite as well as the other side, but we're kind of force feeding it here. If you get any blood, or even our tears have salt in them, and salt is one of the things that they use to remove a tattoo, and so you gotta wipe that away. And I try not to wipe as any more than I necessarily have to, because it does irritate your eye later on during the healing. You feel it once the number is gone and you're on your own out of here. You can feel it, and so I try not to wipe too much. But with her eyes are watering a little bit more, and so I want to make sure that they're dry so that pigment does stay. And it's just in this corner that's having a little issue. I'm going to take the whole thing off here. getting better.
Yay.
Yes, getting better.
So excited.
Yes, I can't wait to show you the reveal. Again, pull, reinforce this. I'll do some measuring when we're done because I want to make sure we've gone from lash to lash and that it's nice and even. You don't want to look at your eyes and have one longer than the other. Though some people's eyes are longer, you know, because they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and make them look similar. They'll never be twins, and I tell people that a lot when I'm doing eyebrows.
Yep.
Your sisters, they're not twins.
Yeah, one of mine is definitely longer than the other.
Yeah. One little dot on that inside, and I'm going to let you look. I'm going to reinforce it. And I am going to take off the numbing agent from the other side after this stuff splatters every now and then, and so I make a mess, but I sure clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you look before I look, just because you've got to be so curious.
I'm dying.
Yes, and so then I'll go back and I'll look. So it might not be quite right, but go ahead and try and blink if you can. Leave that darn thing. 'Cause
The advantage of going to an expert is trusting them.
absolutely.
So I also trust that you did it to look good,
Okay.
so I don't anticipate needing any changes.
I may need some. I think when you stand on one side, and I move around, but when I do initially, I stand on one side. And then I'm going to go to the head of you and do my measurements. But I like to let you see what we've done first, if you can open.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's hard. The lights are really, really bright, and so it does
Oh, that looks so cool.
it really does bother your eyes. And I always tell everybody, have a pair of sunglasses.
That looks really cool. I love it.
See any change?
That looks amazing.
I'll let you do a close-up so everybody can see it, and then I'm going to do some measurements here.
Ta-da! What do you think?
Isn't she beautiful?
So, for any of you that were curious about offering this as a service in the salon, this is what it looks like. Alright, I'll let her finish.
I'm going to take a little bit of that pigment out of the corner of your eyes. You don't need that. It's kind of deceiving. And you may have to do this a couple of times. I send home with you some Q-tips.
Okay.
And you are going to have a little care package. Okay, go ahead and open, Holly. So this side is a little bit more swollen, but I think it's slightly thicker, so I'm going to go in and put a little bit more on that side. Just one more pass, I think, is probably all it's going to need.
Okay.
I'm going to send home a care package with you and give you all kinds of good instructions. And they're really, really easy. For the first 3 hours after you leave me. So we'll be done here by 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, you're going to have a bag with 6 wipes in it that are soaked in sterilized water.
Okay.
And you're going to take the one wipe out and squeeze a little bit of the excess out of it, and you're going to wipe from the inside of your eye to the outside of your eye and throw it away. Get rid of that pad. You're not going to use it again.
Okay.
Then you'll take another one and you'll do your other eye and pitch that one.
Okay.
Then you're going to wait another hour and you'll do the process again. You'll do it a third time in 3 hours, and then that's it. That's
Okay.
all you have to do to take care of it today. Now, tomorrow, you might feel like you start to get a little bit of itching. You can put a little bit of Vaseline on there if you want to, because it's going to be tender for a couple of days. You're definitely going to know that you had something done. So Vaseline is the only thing that I really suggest. You don't want to put any antibiotic or ointments or anything next to your eye. That's just kind of asking for some trouble. But I'm going to send with you the Q-tips, and I'm going to send with you some large makeup rounds.
Okay.
And you can ice also if you feel like you're too swollen. The best part about my numbing agents is that they have a suppressant for swelling. However, you still do have a little bit going on. Not so much on your right eye, but your left eye.
Hashtag ginger life.
Exactly. Poor thing. So tomorrow, that's all you have to do as far as if you're healing. You're not tomorrow Vaseline and the next day, and then you're pretty well finished. You're gonna notice, like I said, you might have some flaking, and that might itch a little bit.
Okay.
The only thing that you really have to remember is, like, when you're in the shower, you're gonna put your hand and cup so that the water doesn't go directly on your eyes.
Okay.
Same thing if you're just washing your face at night before you go to bed. You're just gonna make sure that you don't splash all the water in your face. If you get a little bit on there, it's fine.
Okay.
But you don't have to worry, a little bit's not gonna harm it. And like I said, we will change that. If some comes out, on your second session, we'll put that right back in. So you're actually done.
Yay.
And if you can open your eye, you can. Otherwise, I'll put some more. We'll flush it out and put some more water in there if you need to.
Okay. Here's right after appointment number 2. You can see it's not super red, not super irritated. She did use the numbing stuff again, so it's not horrible. If you've had a regular tattoo, it definitely doesn't hurt the same because it's numb. Obviously, that's a good idea since it's right by your eyeball and you don't want to twitch when you're getting tattooed by your eyeball. So I hope you've enjoyed being along this journey. I'll wait a week for this to heal up so that you can see what the final color looks like after both appointments. And leave any questions or comments below. And if it's something I can't answer, I'll ask Sue so that she can get the answer to you. Thanks for coming along on the journey. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of step off of nails into something unique and different that you can add on if you have a dual license. Thanks for joining me.